Welcome back to the channel, everybody. In today's video, we're going to be showcasing Ferex. She's my 2017 Honda VFR1200x, also known as the Cross Tourer. This is going to be just a quick video showing you guys, the specs and the pros and the cons and what my future plans are with her. The VFR1200x is an adventuring touring motorcycle made from 2012 to 2021, though the US only got them from 2016 to 2017. The specs include a 1237cc V4 engine that produced around 125 horsepower and roughly 90 foot-pounds of torque. It has a 6-speed manual transmission that also came in a DCT model. It weighs just over 600 pounds wet. It's shaft-driven, mounted on a single-sided swing arm. It also came with spoked wheels, where the spokes were actually mounted on the outside of the bead, so you can run tubeless tires. It does come with some electronic features, such as ABS and 4 traction control modes. This fuel tank holds 5.6 gallons of fuel, where mileage ranges from 35 to almost 50 miles per gallon, depending on how you ride it. After riding this bike for almost 8 weeks now, I'm now going to give you a list of all the pros and the cons that I've found while riding this bike. It's a pretty unique and rare bike. These were only released in the States for 2 years, so you just don't really see these things out and about. And you guys know how much I like standing out and having a bike that nobody else really has. Next is the power delivery. It's a V4, it's got all the torque in the world. I absolutely love the way it pulls. It still has pretty decent acceleration as you're getting higher in the RPMs as well. You know I'm like a guy that likes the shaft-driven bikes. This thing is shaft-driven, there's little to no maintenance on this thing, and it's just so smooth. I feel like weight distribution is something nobody really talks about in bike reviews. The weight distribution and the balance on this thing is phenomenal, given the fact it's 600 pounds on paper. It really doesn't feel like it at all. You can throw this thing around, it's surprisingly nimble. This bike is really comfortable. As you're in like an upright riding position, the seat kind of sits you in it and not on top of it like most other adventure touring bikes. The V4 engine platform is actually well known for being extremely balanced, and you pair that with the shaft drive that's on the back, and you've just got such a smooth ride. Like, it doesn't feel clunky, and the suspension absorption is really good. It actually has 6 inches of travel in the front and 5 inches of travel in the back, making it a pretty decent off-road bike. Something else I really like about this bike is the adjustable windscreen. It's a spring-loaded lever on the left side. You just move it like that and it pops right up, shoots the wind over your head, and right back down. It's so easy, and it's one of the coolest things about this bike. Now let's talk about fuel consumption. Now, it's pretty mediocre in terms of comparing it to other adventure riding bikes, but from what I'm used to and comparing it to the VMAX, this thing gets outstanding fuel economy. We've talked about the pros, now we're going to talk about the cons, the things I don't like about this bike. It's got really short gearing. First gear is extremely short. They probably did that just so it could off-road better at low speeds. In my opinion, first gear should just be a tad bit longer. I just feel like it would be way more manageable when you're driving on the street. Now we're going to talk about the overdrive gear. I told you that it was a 6-speed transmission. There's just not a whole lot of difference between the 5th gear and the 6th gear RPM. Like, if you're driving 70 miles an hour on the freeway and you're in 5th gear, you're at 4,100 RPM, and then you shift into 6th, it drops it down to only 3,900 RPM. There's just not a whole lot of difference there. I really wish that they would have dropped it down more RPM. It would be a lot better on gas in the long run. Another downer is limited production. They were only in the States for 2 years. If you need any parts shipped to overseas from Europe, they're just becoming harder and harder to find parts for. This bike did come out in 2012, but they just didn't really change a whole lot throughout the years. And it's just kind of a dated display. It's a very simple LCD screen. It's very bland, kind of boring. Another kicker is it has indefinite ABS, which means you can't toggle it on or off. It's just on all the time. So the VFR doesn't actually come with heated grips from the factory. That's something you have to put on down the road, unlike most other adventure touring bikes to date. It's not a deal breaker for me, but it would be nice to have heated grips sometimes. A lot of modern adventure touring bikes come with cruise control these days, but the VFR1200x does not have cruise control. There's no problem for me. I put an Atlas Moto throttle lock on. I absolutely love these things. For those who don't know, Atlas is running an end-of-season sale. You can go to their website. If you use discount code Roan_media20, it'll save you $20 off your order. Now that we've talked about the pros and the cons of this bike, the next segment of this video is to talk about the things I've done to this bike and my future plans with this bike. For those people that haven't seen my YouTube videos on the mods that I've done to this bike already, I'm just going to kind of rattle them off and just kind of go through all the things that I've changed while the bike has been in my possession. First things first, I got rid of the big plastic beak that was on the front. The next thing I did was I vinyl wrapped the fuel tank and the plastic side covers in a 3M matte gray aluminum, and it matches almost identical to the OEM color on the back and the engine side covers. I then installed a Peak Design phone mount. This is the wireless charging version. As I mentioned before, I have a cruise control alternative, the Atlas Moto throttle lock. I also wanted to customize it to my liking, and I didn't really care much for the OEM grips, so I put on Pro Taper pillow tops with foam grip donuts. I also did a DIY fender eliminator. This is just a modified stock one that I cut shorter and moved the license plate higher. I also have a video of me installing my tech spec tank pads and the steps I took to modify it to fit this bike. Took me a little bit to track it down, but I got me an OEM center stand. I also have a heat crash cage and a radiator protector. And finally, for visibility at night, I've got amber fog lights and a light bar on the front. Now we're going to wrap up the video with my future plans for this bike. Number one is going to be a Canon air filter. I get rid of the OEM one. It'll give this thing a little bit more performance and let it breathe a little bit better. One of my next purchases I'll be making is a quick shifter made by Heel Tech. It's a plug and play system. You don't have to let off the throttle, don't have to pull in the clutch, you just spank through the gears. It'll make the bike 10 times more fun to ride. I will be putting an exhaust on it this winter. I just don't know what I want yet, so if you have any suggestions, put them in the comments below. I've been really thinking about the Dominator exhaust, so if you guys have any experience with those, let me know. They're one of the better sounding exhausts for these bikes that I've seen. And last but not least is an ECU tune. I'm not sure if there's a specific guy to send it to, or if I should just pay the extra money and throw it on a dyno and just have it dialed in. Don't forget to go to atlasmoto.com, save $20 off your order by using Roan_media at checkout. It'll save you $20 on an Atlas Moto throttle lock. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap up today's video. I really appreciate you guys staying to the end. If you liked what you saw, drop a like. If you got any questions or concerns, drop them in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you want to see more. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next video.